Hi, my name is Hans Dano, and this is my analytical case study on the company Cyclistic bike share, a Google case study. So before I start with presenting the data and the different ways that it was analyzed by me, I want to inform that all the background information behind the case study can be found within the PDF here, which it won't be mentioned in the presentation's goal because the only goal is to come up with solutions behind the problem, and it's a bit long, the background. I also want to mention that all this data being studied contains only the last 12 months, which is all of 2024. So, the business task. The main objective of the analysis was to understand how casual riders and annual members use cyclistic bikes differently. In this presentation, I will display how in the near future the company will be able to apply solutions to the main task, which is to convert casual users of the company's bike services into annual members. So if we narrow down the bike service usage down to the days of the week, we want to put a large focus onto where the frequency is the highest for casual and membership users. If we take a look at this bar chart, we can see that there are much more members who use the service, which is great for the company. We can safely assume that over time, the casual members have probably chosen to get an annual membership in the previous years. Taking a look at the shape, the annual members follow a hill type of progression, while casual members follow a U-shaped progression throughout the week. So this means that casual users are more likely to use the bikes only during the weekends. During the weekdays, there's a big drop of usage for casual members, while for annual members, there's a raise in the use of the bikes. Specifically, highly likely due to annual membership users using it for commute for work and school. In terms of convincing casual users, although there are non-negotiables for casual users to convert to an actual membership, such as the distance being simply too far for daily commute, or that they already have a much more convenient method of travel for their daily needs, especially during the weekdays. There are ways to be able to capitalize on this, which will be mentioned later in terms of solving the business objective. So now we have the rides per month. If we take a look at the bigger picture, we can now see that proportionally, when we take a look at the casuals versus the annual members separately, they are very similar. This puts a great emphasis on weather conditions. It looks like when the seasons start getting colder, there is much less usage of the bike service compared to the warmer months. For instance, if we take a look at the month of October, we can see a very consistent drop, not only within the casual members, but also the annual members. However, in terms of how marketing strategies go, I should put a bigger focus in actually looking at the data when it starts to show linear growth. This is perfect when keeping in mind when to put up ad campaigns and also when to stop spending money on ads when it's not necessary. There are also probably other reasons as to why the service is much more popular among people during the summer slash warmer months. One of them is that there's likely going to be more tourists during this time. The main goal is to convert users into an annual membership, so maybe instead we could offer the service by changing the business task of converting casual members, which include these tourists, into more sub options such as day passes, week passes, and month passes. So finally, to put into action what I have analyzed, there are a couple of ways that we can solve the issue and address the different ways that the marketing team and the company can act upon this. Instead of looking at the lower end of bikers during the year, we can look at the higher ends. This is because almost half of the year, it's just too cold to use the service. So number one, prioritizing the right times for ad campaigns, which is the main priority of the business objective. So having a perfect advertising plan and knowing exactly when to put them up is a great way to start. So I think that putting an emphasis on the right time of the year to put them up should be prioritized. I think that dropping off ads around when the numbers start picking up, such as March to April, will give the best result. To lower the budget on advertising, there doesn't have to be physical ads all year round because social media is continually growing and it is very easy nowadays to reach people. Although ads cost money online as well, the company can simply make social media posts, which may or may not get viral, but it is very low risk as compared to actually spending money on ads. Secondly, although the main objective of this analysis was to convert casual members into annual membership through ads, as mentioned before, it's simply just not possible due to the inevitable cold weather in which biking is just not as convenient as taking a vehicle. Around 5 to 6 months of the year, it's just too cold to bike. This explains the lower numbers that we saw during the data for bikers during the year. To counteract this, the company can make numerous membership types. So far in the data, we only have that users could either be casual or membership. Instead, we could have something that targets specific types of people, such as tourists. The company could come up with something like weekend passes, 3-day passes, weekly passes, 1 to 2 month passes. This would allow for people to bike in the summer for cheaper than buying casual memberships every single day, and also is able to just give them more options in general. In terms of further study, we could look at the ride types. As you can see, taking a look at this donut chart, it is very important to note that barely anyone uses an electrical scooter. Although it is not the primary goal, it could be worth taking a look at the budget used for the electrical scooters. We could end up saving money in the long run if we consider dropping this type of service, but it could also be possible that it is a new service type for the Cyclistic company, and maybe people are not aware that Cyclistic does offer this type of ride type. This information wasn't given in the background of the PDF file that was in the beginning of the presentation, so I can't really say. But if it is a newer service, the company could try to emphasize that they do offer this type of service, and this could be more interesting for people like tourists, which again we mentioned earlier, and are probably going to be more popular during the warmer months. Lastly, some small things to consider and a great future for the company. So surprisingly, a lot of the casual bikers are biking for over an hour. There is a number of 125,000 number of casual bikers that are biking over 60 minutes when looking at this data, compared to only the 25,543 member bikers total that are biking over 60 minutes. Although, of course, this isn't the bigger picture of the data, it does show that this is a great sign, as it means that there are still casual members that could be willing to convert into different types of membership. There is a Power BI dashboard I created which shows the different types of data that I thought was helpful. And if I take a deep dive into the data again in the future, it will be interesting to see how the numbers change over time, like this year in 2025. Thank you so much for your time and listening to my case study and applying my data analytical skills. Thank you for listening.